Okay, so you all should have your watercolor techniques finished. And now I'm going to move on to show you our Jasper Johns watercolor assignment. So Jasper Johns was an artist in the 50s and 60s. He was an American artist, and he was in the abstract expressionist movement. And he did an artwork that was called 0 through 9. And it was an oil painting, but we are going to do an artwork that's kind of similar to that. So in his painting, and I will post this on Classroom, he stacked the numbers 0 through 9 and then painted it and abstracted it. So that's what we're going to work on, and this is an example of what a final piece would look like. I don't have color ink at home, so it's in black and white, but the color image is on Classroom. So your very first step in this, before you get started on your watercolor, is to practice drawing out your numbers. And so I gave you a document that has all of these kind of block stencil-like numbers on it, and you're going to pick 4 numbers. So make sure you pick 4 numbers. I picked 2, 4, 6, and 8. And then I just practiced drawing them out. I actually did that on a video just a minute ago, and then it did not save. So we're gonna try this again. So in my sketchbook, just right after the watercolor techniques, I am gonna draw out some rectangles. And then I'm going to practice drawing these numbers out again. So the beauty of this typeface is that each one of these numbers you can just put a rectangle around and it will fit perfectly. So whenever I'm drawing, I want to use the rectangle to my advantage. So for instance, if I'm drawing this 2, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. When I'm drawing this 2, I know that the top of it is going to be flat against that line. And then it's going to curve. I may have gotten that a little bit top heavy. What do you all say? My 2 might be a little thick. Is that right? So then I'm going to draw this swoop. And they're really a pretty number, or it's a really pretty type whenever it's drawn out. So there's a 2. Not perfect, but just for practice. And then if I do my 4 over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use my rectangle for the borders. And then I'm going to come down. If you've had Miss Allen's class, then you know that whenever a type has a little tail on it like this, that's called a serif. So this stencil type has a serif. It is a serif. And then types that are like Arial. Can't think of the other typefaces right now. But so Arial would be a sans serif. Times New Roman would be a serif because it has these little tails on it. So there's a 4. Let's get my 6 over here. Make sure you all can still see me. My 6 is gonna take up pretty much, like I can just curve the edges for the whole thing. So I know my 6 is gonna go in the middle of this. If I was doing a 0, then I could just put the inside of it. Same thing, the 9 is just going to be the opposite of the 6. We just kind of start with your corners and then draw out.
That looks good, Mommy.
Thank you, honey. My children are finished with their NTI work for the day. Now that looks a little bit too much like a G, so I'm gonna bring it up a little bit more. And there's a 6. And then for the 8, I know I'm gonna have kind of like a snowman. I know this is gonna curve all the way down. Girls, can you all check and see if that's Daddy?
It's the number.
Okay, it's okay. It's probably one of you guys calling me because you need some help. Okay, so there are my 4 numbers, 2, 4, 6, and 8. I have those picked out, and then on the other side of this page in my sketchbook, I am going to show you how to overlap them, okay?